Okay.
Hi, everyone. I am Lorianne. I am that gal from Milton, Ontario, Canada, and I am with.
I am that guy. I'm Roy Miller from Dallas, Texas. And tonight we have with us Bruce Wedding. Bruce is also a fellow Texan. He's a software engineer. He is a copywriter and an entrepreneur. He's had some successful products on JVZoo and the Warrior Forum. So, Bruce, we're glad you took the time to be with us. I know you're busy, but I think one of the questions that we want to know is, we'll start out with copywriting. How did you get into copywriting?
Okay, so going back to the early 2000s, I'm old enough to have seen the internet, begin, and I saw very soon that it was going to be a potential way to make money. And I had always been of the entrepreneurial mindset, and so I started learning about selling products online, and very quickly I realized that I needed to know how to write copy or hire a copywriter. And when I looked into it at the time, copywriters for a sales letter were expensive, $1,500 to $2,000, and that really hasn't changed much. And they can go a lot higher than that. And I'm just sort of naturally a tight person financially. And I thought, I'm smart, I can learn, I'll just teach myself. And I started reading copywriting books. I actually have a shelf of them right here. Words that sell, phrases that sell. Just grabbing elements of persuasion, the compound effect. I am a voracious reader. Positioning, the 22 Immutable Laws of Marketing, classics. David Ogilvy, Confessions of an Advertising Man, on and on. I've got 40 more books over there, and those are just a sample of what I read. And so at the same time, I had never put it into practice. I'd read a lot. I knew what to do, but I had never written any sales letters. And I met a guy that became my mentor in the Warrior Forum back in 2006 or so. And he was one of the top copywriters in internet marketing. And we became friends. We're still friends to this day. His name is John Hostler, by the way. And he was at the top of his game, getting $5,000 a letter from people and writing more than 100 letters a year. And I became his protege, copy cub, sometimes they refer it to as, and I would write letters for him. And then he would edit and teach me what I did wrong, what I could do better. And over the course of about 18 months, I wrote 300 sales letters for him, in addition to having my full-time job. Basically, I did nothing else, but all my weekends were occupied. And eventually, I knew enough that I broke out on my own. And I had a hit product with a little-known marketer, but he was a well-connected marketer. And when his product was successful, a lot of people asked him who wrote his copy, and that just dominoed into me becoming very popular also. And I was getting up to $4,000 and occasionally $5,000 a letter. I had guys that, if you've been in marketing a long time, you've heard of. I've written for Mike Filsame. I wrote for Brad Callen, 6 or 8 letters for Brad Callen and a few for his brother, Matt. And then a lot of people you've never heard of. But in the end, I just decided it wasn't what I wanted to do. I didn't like the client relationship so much in that regard, for various reasons. There were conflicts, opinions. I was the expert, but they wanted to change my copy, or they would come to me unprepared, come to me too late, not give me time enough to do a good job, et cetera. And in the end, I just thought I can make more money using these skills for my own products. So from that point on, back in about 2009, that's what I started doing.
Well, for transparency, Bruce wrote a letter for me, a sales letter for me back a few years back. And I know Bruce is basically, in most of the stuff he does, he's pretty much self-taught. He wants to learn something, he learns it. So I know that.
Yep.
About Bruce.
Okay, so I can make a little joke here. We're talking about how he's decided to go on his own without the clients. Roy, were you one of those? I'm kidding. It's a joke.
Well, I hope not.
Because I know Roy.
No,
He's so
Roy was
kind. No, he's
an
awesome.
excellent client. I'd take clients like Roy and clients like Brad Callen, to be honest, all day long. They were great. But the thing was, I just felt like I was leaving money on the table. Anytime you do a service for hire, when there's no time off. When you're not working, you're not making money. And that was the problem. I wanted to get to a state where I could put something out there like my clients are doing and have it make money while I slept, while I worked on other things. And copywriting won't do that for you. It can be lucrative. And, you know, there are ways to make it work. I have friends that are very successful copywriters who are doing other things like training and coaching and mentoring and stuff. But at the time, that didn't appeal to me. Because I'm a software engineer, I was more interested in trying to create products to sell using those skills.
Can I ask you a question? So what motivated you to move to that? Because you're saying now that you're doing copywriting yourself for your products. What was the first product that motivated you to do copywriting for yourself?
Well, I don't know that I can pinpoint one particular product that gave me that motivation. It was just a point where I had a bad experience with a client, and I just decided I don't want to do this anymore. And I had gotten off. My original path was always to write copy for myself, for my own products. It was just to learn the skill to use for me, and I've got diverted because the money was so easy. Back then. And so what I would say is I finally realized the money's good, but it's not worth it. I would rather work for myself. That's the thought process I had.
Well, it's something interesting. I met Bruce at an event, and of course, wedding is not a common, it's not a Smith and Jones last name, right?
Very
so
few
when
in
I
the
met
world.
him, I said, wait a minute, I bought one of your products before. Because I recognized the name. Which one was I? Go, I don't know. I just remember the name, Wedding. I know I bought one of your products.
I'll tell you, I put out a few products. And I mean, would you like to hear the story of the hit product that I had?
Sure. Please share them. Sure. Absolutely.
Because it's an interesting story. There's a lot of lessons in it. A lot of people think you need to spend a lot of time and effort creating something amazing to sell. And there can be some truth to that, but also there's a lot of truth to taking imperfect action and just getting something out there. You know, I have right on my wall here, the longer it takes to develop, the less likely it is to launch. You got to get stuff done and get it launched out there, and you can work on it. So what happened was, and I'll tell you guys, going in, it was the perfect storm in a good way for me. What happened to me in this product was luck, timing, and skill. It was a combination of everything. But, you know, they say luck favors the prepared mind. My copywriting training is what really blew this up, but I don't want to take away from the fact that my timing was just impeccable. So here's what happened. This was back in late 2012, early 2013. I don't know exactly, but the t-shirt business was getting big. Teespring had come out, and I have always followed Donald Wilson. He's a personal friend of mine, owner of Gear Bubble. And I know Don and Rachel. I've known Rachel longer than Don. Met her in Philadelphia first back in probably 2008, and then Don later. And so I was following him, and he put out some good free content on selling T-shirts. And I thought, I'll give it a try. And I put up a sweatshirt back in, I guess it would have been October 2012, with the idea of targeting Christmas gifts. And honestly, the sweatshirt design I used wouldn't be accepted now because it was related to a sports team. And I didn't know any better back then, but it did very well. I started selling these shirts at, I believe, $40, $39.95, and I was making about $22 a sale. And they started selling like crazy. I had a credit card that had a $20,000 limit, and I hit my limit and had to send money to them to pay it down to keep using the credit card because I was spending $1,250 a day on advertising. And in the end, when it finally slowed down, I had sold like $6,000 worth of t-shirts. And profit, not $6,000 worth of t-shirts, $6,000 in profit in 9 or 10 days. And I turned that into my headline. I just thought, you know what? I can do this again, and I'm going to do it again. I'm going to sell more t-shirts, but I could probably make some good Christmas money just writing a case study on what I did. And so I wrote a 15-page report in a one sit-down session, 4 or 5 hours, just detailing everything I did, my research, how I ran the ads, and what happened. And my title was how I made, $6,423 in 9 days. And then I wrote the copy, and the copy, I got so many compliments on that because you know why it was good? Because it came from the heart and it was just a true story. I wrote exactly what happened to me and how it changed my life. I was going Christmas shopping, and I bought a $200 Michael Kors wallet for my girlfriend at the time. And I literally, while I was shopping, I made more money selling those sweatshirts than I spent in Christmas money. And I wrote about that in my copy. And the copy just resonated with people. And I put it on JVZoo because I was more, I actually know the owners of JVZoo and Warrior Plus, Mike Lance and Brian Rose. And gosh, I'm drawing a blank on the other partner's name. But anyway, I put it on Warrior Plus, on JVZoo, and it was doing fine, but they wouldn't give me the product of the day. And if you're not familiar with that, if you haven't been in the product launch world, product of the day, it's less so now, but back then it could be life-changing, what it does for you. And I was in a hotel in Denver, Colorado, because we were spending Christmas with the daughter of my girlfriend at the time. And Mike Lance, who's the owner of Warrior Plus, he messaged me on Skype. And he said, hey, if you move your product to Warrior Plus, I'll promote it for you, meaning WSO of the day. And I was like, sure, Mike, I'll do that. And so I took it off of JVZoo and I put it on Warrior Plus. And I sort of didn't pay attention to it because it was the holidays. But I remember laying in the hotel bed. This was a moment that just changed my life almost. And my laptop was up on the computer desk in the hotel. And I was watching a movie, but I could see my laptop scrolling my mail, and it just kept doing that and it kept distracting me. And I finally went and looked at my laptop to see what the heck all this mail was. Every one of them was a sale of my product, and Warrior Plus had sent the promotion for the WSO of the day. And I made 700 sales by that time and 24 hours later. And then they continued. And that just not only gave me a big influx of income, but it got me all kinds of attention. And, one of the things you hear about people is, how do I get affiliates? How do I get these big time guys to promote my product when they won't even give me the time of day? Well, those big time people were contacting me to ask for permission to promote my product when that happened, because it converted so well, because I got that attention. So in the end, I think we sold close to 3,000 copies of that. And I followed it up with some other promotions and stuff with the people that bought, and made, I don't know, maybe $25,000 on that thing in a month. And I wrote it in 4 or 5 hours,
If you don't mind me interjecting, because some of our listeners may not know, I do know about Warrior Plus. I did not know about JVZoo, but you can give them just a quick idea of what we're talking about regarding that. Thank you.
So these are affiliate networks, and the original one, well, there's one called ClickBank, which is very popular. Warrior Plus is owned by Mike Lance, and it was sort of, its roots go back to the Warrior Forum. It's not associated with them anymore, but the Warrior Forum was the huge internet marketing forum before Facebook became popular. And then JVZoo is the third affiliate network. And essentially, these are places where vendors can put their products and sell them to the market. And then the affiliates will select the products to promote to their email lists or run ads for, or however they sell their products. Usually it's an email blast that they do to their email list. So basically,
there a cost? Sorry.
No, the cost is the commission. You know, if you sell, generally the commission is going to be 50% to the affiliate. And then there is a couple percent charge to the affiliate network. So if you have, say, for easy math, if you've got a $100 product, 50 goes to the affiliate, and then from your 50, they're going to take out about another 5% as a fee for using the network. So that's how it works. And the advantages of these things for a product seller are you can get a lot of people to sell your product for you. You don't have to do the advertising and marketing. And it's a great way to do that if you have a high converting product. And another sort of inside secret is you have to know people, really. You can have a break like I did where I didn't know a lot of people. I knew few because of all my networking with the copywriting world, but the secret is there's a lot of politics and there's a lot of good old boy network type stuff. So just putting something on there, the odds of getting product of the day, if you don't know anybody at JVZoo or any of their big affiliates or Warrior Plus, your odds of getting the product of the day are really small. Now mine, it happened for me the first time because it was such a good product at such the right time, selling really well with great copy. The second and third time, I would say it helped that I knew people, you know, because you can, when I know Brian Zimmerman, that's the name I was forgetting. Brian Zimmerman is the CEO of JVZoo. And I won't say I'm a personal friend, but I'm definitely acquainted with him. I've met him many times and talked to him, and I even had a coaching session with him. So I know him on that level, but I can message him and say, hey, be sure to check out my new product. It's selling pretty well. And that gets it in front of them to look at, to consider for the product of the day.
So I have another question too. When you become an affiliate, because I know Warrior Plus, I've been with them for quite a few years watching their products. Is it such so I can pick one product and it's somebody else that put it on? You can put your own product on there. And it's basically, you get to choose. It's like shopping for something you want to resell, right?
That's exactly right. Yeah. In fact, I literally sent my current girlfriend to ClickBank yesterday for her to start shopping for products to sell in Colombia, where she's from, because it's very rare down there and the advertising is really cheap. And I think that it's an opportunity for her. And there are lots of products on ClickBank in Spanish. Now in Warrior Plus and JVZoo, there are fewer products. It's definitely a model that people can consider. I'll tell you, I always follow the advertising on Facebook just to see what people are up to. And there was a product for older guys like myself, middle-aged men and up, that it was silly. It was a stretching product, but they showed these guys, 50-year-old guys doing the splits in these videos. And I researched it and found out, yeah, it's a ClickBank product. And somebody is promoting that with Facebook ads. And they are making a killing doing that. They're selling the heck out of that program.
And sorry, Roy, I know I'm sort of taking over with the questions, but this just amazes me. So you're talking about Colombia. I have a lot of friends in India. And do you know anything about that market? Because at this point, and as you know, Colombia is in a lockdown, so is India really badly, and they're looking for these type of opportunities. Do you know anything about the popularity of ClickBank or JVZoo or Warrior Plus in the Indian community in India?
Actually, I don't. I can assume the advertising will be cheap. And I know that most Indians know how to speak English, so you could probably market English products there. because I doubt you're going to find them in Urdu or Hindi, or I don't know the other. Urdu is one of the languages, right? So honestly, I can't answer that. I just know that the advertising is really lucrative. The prices in most countries outside the big US, UK, Canada, Australia are all going to be pretty similar in pricing. Once you go beyond that, and maybe some of the more developed European, Germany, France, a lot of people sell in Germany, but when you get outside of those major world powers, the ad prices just go way down. Now, there's reasons for that. You know, in Colombia, it's a poor country. So a lot of the people that see your ad aren't going to be able to buy a $47 ClickBank product because, you know, the minimum wage there is $260 a month. So, but there are still people there with money. So we're going to give that a try.
And then I also want to let people know, because you have some products I would imagine out there. We would love for you to share them, because this is really, we're really appreciating your time here. I know, Roy, thank you for inviting, because this is exciting for me, because I do know about Blaster Suite, but Warrior Plus, but I didn't realize just, you know, I would just sometimes delete all of these things.
Yeah.
I didn't realize just how lucrative it could be. Thank you for letting me know.
Yeah.
But I would like to have people know about your products if they're on.
Well, yeah, and I appreciate that. I don't have anything. Most of my products are off the market now because I've moved on to the coaching stuff. But and my coaching is very specific. I mean, I'm just happy to talk to you guys. I don't really have anything to promote.
Well, Bruce, a question for you, since you've been around for a while. It's about advertising. So what are you seeing in Facebook advertising from when it started really taking off to what is happening to it now?
Well, are you talking like to the very minute right now, or do you mean just kind of historically up until COVID?
Yeah. I'm just talking about just kind of overall the shift from, say, 2010 to now, the last 10 years, say.
Right. Well, a lot of things have gotten better about Facebook advertising, but the big shift is, and I'll tell you, it's why I moved to a different business model. The big shift is it's just more expensive because there is a lot more competition for advertising space. So where you used to could get leads for, just for example, if you could get leads for $1 a lead, you're now pretty happy to get them for $5 a lead. I mean, we've seen big price increases. I had gotten $8 and $10 per thousand views back in 2013, 2014, 15. I considered anything above $10 per thousand, which means for every 1,000 people that see your ad, you're going to pay $10 to Facebook. That was about the normal. That was about as high as I wanted to pay. Well, now it's closer to 20. So it's essentially doubled your cost per view, and your lead costs are, everything is 2 to 4 to 5 times higher than it was, say, 6-7 years ago. And now COVID actually helped that. A lot of people stopped advertising because of COVID, and the rates went back down some. And a lot of the smart guys that were paying attention jumped in and were really doing well, because we sort of have a captive audience right now. Everybody's stuck at home. And so a lot of people are watching more webinars, and they're paying attention to more training, buying courses. I mean, I personally have done that, you know. And so the people that are playing right now in the ad space with COVID are doing really well. But we sort of missed the trough. I won't say the peak, but the lowest pricing, and it is scaling back up because other people are seeing that. We also had, you know, you may have heard in the news, there's a big advertising boycott of a lot of the major advertisers have stopped Facebook advertising. So that's keeping prices down. So right now is a really good time to get into Facebook. You got a captive audience, prices are lower than they've been in a few years, and it's a good way to go. Now, to talk about the other changes, the things we're seeing are they're giving us more advertising, more types of advertising, better targeting. And there are people, if you're willing to spend enough money, You don't even need to target. You can just say, I want the United States, or maybe if it's a product catering to women, you could say women in the United States older than 21 years old, and let it do the rest. And it will find, based on the people that do buy your product, it will hone in on the right ones. And that's where I focus my energy in advertising.
You know, it's interesting. A while ago, you were talking about COVID and how it's affecting advertising and stuff. But I can remember right when all this started happening, I remember seeing something about Frank Kern, and the girl's name is Barbara, but I cannot think of her last name.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, they got together and they just said, hey, look, these people are home. They want something to do. And they put together some, you know, internet marketing courses, you know, for
Right.
people. And they did very well because they, at the right time, saw the opportunity, took advantage of it.
Frank Kern had a program called Let's Get Sales, or Let's Make Sales. And I bought it because I was interested in his, what he calls intent-based branding. And I can explain that too, if you want, but it was $100 program, and I would pay $100 any day to listen to Frank Kern because I think the guy's a genius in this space, and he's been dominating here for 20 years. So anyway, I got in the program, and I just happened to look in the group that we all paid $100 to get in, and there were 2,700 members. So he made $270,000 that month because of COVID, you know, to get all those nearly 3,000 people in that group. But yeah, he's a sharp guy.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt. You know, and I mean, I know advertising is a big expense for marketers. And, you know, on Facebook seems to be what everybody wants to go to. What other forms of advertising do you recommend?
Well, I am only really comfortable talking about Facebook. I have done a little bit of YouTube, but I'm learning YouTube. So I don't feel qualified to say too much about it. Facebook is pretty much my specialty. I would love to help you out, but I don't want to say things that aren't true. I believe YouTube is the next place to go. Master Facebook, which covers Instagram also, and then move to YouTube. YouTube ads and views can be cheaper. You have an audience that has, if you target right, the big difference with YouTube is you have an audience that has an intent already. They have searched how to do X. And if your product is how to do X, then you're getting a person who's interested in doing what you sell. That's the big difference. In Facebook, you're sort of randomly showing your ad in front of people who may or may not be interested in what you're selling. So that's why it can be more powerful. It's also cheaper in general if you do it right. So I want to become much better at YouTube. I'm just not there yet.
Yeah. Okay. Lori-Ann, did you have anything?
I think I might have lost about 3 minutes when my internet decided to go down. And I'm going to learn from this. But I got most of that. YouTube is actually something, Bruce, is really worthwhile.
Yeah, her internet, she has trouble with her internet. So, Bruce, do you have?
Did I lock up again?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Okay.
Am I still here? Okay,
Yeah,
sorry about that.
No, you're good. I was just asking Bruce if he had a website or anything that he wanted to let anybody know about, how to reach him or anything like that.
Honestly, Roy, I don't, just because, like I said, what I'm doing is specialized. I don't, I mean, we can talk about that if you want, what I'm doing, and I can, how much time do we have?
As much as you need.
Okay.
We're at about 30 minutes now, but I mean, we can go longer if you'd like.
Well, I think it's important. I think your listeners would find it interesting that if someone asked me, what do I think is the best opportunity right now to do well in the internet marketing space, especially using Facebook advertising, but it's not limited to Facebook advertising. And that's where I'm at. That was the decision I made, was to go into a field of coaching. And I'll tell you why. Advertising, like we discussed, has gotten a lot more expensive. And to sell a $27 or $47 product for e-commerce is a difficult proposition. It can be done by experts, and it can be done by lots of testing and picking really interesting products. But the main money there is longer term by building an audience and a brand identity. And it's something that's going to take a lot of work and a lot of effort to get there, because the advertising is so expensive. It's very hard to sell anything on Facebook profitably for, I'd say, under about $200. It's done, it can be done, but I'm saying it's difficult, especially for people who haven't done it before. So I started looking into high ticket things. And I think the two areas that the beginner actually has a better chance of success at are either selling a course in the $1,000 to $2,000 price range, or coaching in the $3,000 to $5,000 to even more price range. That's because, now why do I say it's better for a beginner? Well, you've got a lot of room to screw up. Your copy doesn't have to be great. You can make mistakes with your advertising, because one sale, for example, on a course is $1,000. It may take you, even if it took you $500 in advertising because you made mistakes and your copy wasn't great, you're still netting $500. If it was a $200 course, you've lost $300 and you lost interest. You're not going to pursue it anymore. So it gives you, by going high ticket, it gives you a lot of room to play with, and allows you to spend on advertising to remain profitable, but still spend a reasonable amount of money. So I went through all that thought process myself. And what you end up doing, I followed a lot of the guys that are pitching this type of stuff in the industry. And what you need to do is take a self-inventory. You need to really sit down in a quiet room and think about, what can I do? What can I teach people that's worth $3,000 or $5,000? And you need to examine everything in your life. I've gone through this exercise with my little sister, and her first response was, nothing. I don't know anything that anybody would pay me any money for, especially not $3,000. I think for almost everybody, that's not necessarily true. And I did that myself, and that's where I wound up where I am, because I took the inventory. And my coaching led me, or that inventory led me to the coaching product that I'm doing right now. It's nothing to do with software. It's nothing to do with software engineering, which is what my training is. It's nothing to do with copywriting or marketing at all. My life, Roy knows a little bit, but I was married to a woman from Ecuador. I had spent a lot of time in South America with my previous job over the 10 years, traveled a lot, and I just liked that culture, and I liked the people down there. And so I married a woman from Ecuador, beautiful woman, sweet, but she passed away from cancer. And I did it again. Now I have a girlfriend from Colombia. Basically, I realized my expertise was knowing how to successfully meet women for guys like myself, middle-aged guys that have been divorced and are frustrated with the dating situation in the United States. And so I'm taking guys like that, and I've already had 4 guys that have paid me $5,000, that all 4 of them are very happy, have lovely new girlfriends, and it's going well. And so that's what I teach. That's why I say I doubt much of your audience would be interested in that.
You'd be surprised.
Oh, well, and so that's what I do. And it's getting kicked off. I'm also working with a coach. I recommend people use coaches to help them. And he's getting me rolling on my advertising. My advertising is just getting started, and I expect to blow it up in the next few weeks.
Cool.
Excellent.
Well, do you have anything, Lorianne?
I don't think so. This has been really incredibly interesting. I do apologize for that little glitch in my, running away, but I've got it back on. I'll paste everything together. No, really interesting. And I think that dating is absolutely wonderful. I think that you've already seen that people are interested in, yes, in North America, it's very frustrating. I have been single for 17 years, and sometimes I think about, as we were joking about it, do you want the drama? I don't know, but it's kind of like, sometimes I think it'd be nice to wake up one morning and there's somebody there hanging out with you and helping you out and be your partner. And it's a little, I believe, and I don't know Bruce, but this is to your clientele. I do believe that there's a little bit of a difference in our age when you're looking for somebody, whether versus the 20-year-olds and the 30-year-olds.
Yes, I'm looking for guys that basically these empty nesters or the midlife crisis, 40 something, they've been in a marriage 20, 25 years and they just wake up in shock one day and realize, wow, I'm single. But I guess less to that point and more to the point of how can I charge $5,000 for that? Because I'm making a life transformation. I'm taking a guy, the first guy I did was David, 70 years old, lives in a mansion, a 4,000 square foot house, all alone. And he had been married like 35 years. And I told him, I knew he was lonely. He was very lonely. And I said I could help him. And he's like, nah, nobody'd be interested in me. But that was 2.5 years ago. And he's engaged to a beautiful woman from Medellin. Very happy. They talk every day. And he's actually planning on buying an apartment down there and retire because he is retired. And so I changed his life. He went from lonely, kind of depressed, all alone in his house to having someone in his life that makes him happy. And you need